The student thinks he might have misunderstood everything, since the mysterious woman's house was very close. He remembers that it was no surprise that she didn't mind when it started to rain. He reflects that she told him to take shelter from the rain, and he ended up following her like a puppy. Then, he justifies himself by saying it doesn't matter, since it's pouring outside and besides, he has nowhere to go. Then the woman asks him to come in. She adds that he shouldn't worry since she lives alone and that he can leave his sneakers wherever he wants. However, Zhang Fanyu stops, and the young woman asks him what's wrong. The student replies that he's a little wet, and if he goes in like this, he'll get everything wet. The woman looks at him, approaches, grabs his shirt, and discovers that he's also injured on his abdomen. She admits to herself that it's a very large bruise and notices that it spreads quite a bit, which makes the young man nervous. She wonders what the hell happened to him as she starts to lift his shirt, but Fanyu, at his limit, grabs her hand and asks what she's trying to do. He clarifies that he came to her house, but that doesn't mean they have to do that. The woman thinks that she touched him without thinking, and then asks what he means by those words. The young man tries to explain himself, but she interrupts and changes the subject, reminding him that he had said he was wet, insisting that she was just checking. For Fanyu, that makes sense. The homeowner tells him she'll bring him a towel so he can dry off and asks him to wait there. The student, however, thinks that everything is very strange. He wonders if she really doesn't plan to do anything and if he should take the opportunity to leave. Even so, he stays, observing the photos in the house. He notices an autographed photo and, judging by the images, concludes that she must have had a happy and fulfilling life. Although at that moment, her eyes seem to hide a deep loneliness. He admits to himself that maybe he's overthinking things. Just when the woman asks if he's not going to sit down, inviting him to take the sofa, the young man replies that it's fine, that he doesn't want to dirty it, and adds that he should probably go since the rain will soon stop. The woman replies that it doesn't look like it's going to stop and asks if he's in a hurry to get home. Fanyu replies not exactly, revealing that there's no bus or train he can take now. She asks if he doesn't live in Taipei, and when he confirms that he lives in Taichung, she questions what he's doing in those areas then. The young man remains silent, reflecting on what he's done. He doesn't even know. He remembers everything that happened and admits that he feels he's had enough of that life, that he can't stay there another moment, and that all he wants is to escape, anywhere but there. The woman looks at him and notices that he seems a little lost. She tells him it doesn't matter and offers him to spend the night at her place, suggesting that if he's worried, he can call his family first. But he replies that it's not necessary, since no one cares where he is. Hearing that, she says that's a dangerous thing to say. She asks if he's not afraid that she might be a bad person, and what would happen if she tied him up and left him there. Fanyu stays silent, reflecting that once again she says nonsensical things. He admits to himself that he doesn't understand why she's so kind to him, and that everything feels like a trap. Finally, the student ends up sleeping on the sofa. Later, the woman shows up and approaches him, which wakes him up a little startled. He quickly asks what she's doing, and she replies that she just wanted to see if he was sleeping well, since the sofa is probably uncomfortable. She remembers that she had offered him the guest bed, but he insisted on the sofa. The young man thinks that she's too close, but replies that he slept well. Then he reflects on what's wrong with him, since he managed to sleep soundly in a stranger's house. The woman explains that she has to go to work, and that since it's still early, he can sleep a little more if he wants. But Fanyu replies no, that he should also leave. He remembers that the day before he had said so many things to his mother and still hasn't gone home. She's probably angrier now. He wonders how he'll explain everything, and checking his phone, notices that there aren't any calls. She asks if something's wrong, but he replies that it's nothing. Then the woman smiles and asks if maybe he doesn't want to leave, moving closer. She asks him to think about it, suggesting that he stay there, assuring him that she can take care of him. Fanyu is confused, but she comments that he hesitated for a few seconds, which means those words made his heart race, and she questions if that wasn't the case. He replies no, but she insists that she can't talk anymore since she has to leave. She asks to talk about the rest when she comes back, and that, in the meantime, he should make himself at home. She leaves immediately, leaving the young man alone. He's surprised that she left him in her home, unable to believe that she trusted a complete stranger. He admits to himself that she's weird, although she doesn't seem like a bad person. He considers that maybe she's the only one who's ever been kind to him, compared to his mother. He remembers that, at that time, his mother usually was already at home, always running into her when leaving for school. He wonders if she noticed that he's gone, why she hasn't sent him a message yet, or if she's simply still angry about yesterday. He starts to believe that maybe that's her way of completely giving up on him. Elsewhere, someone yells what the hell he's doing, at the same time breaking a cup. The woman from before questions the man about how it can be so difficult to find a single person. She yells that they're driving her crazy and kicks them out. Then it's revealed that she's an actress. Looking at the horizon, she declares that she'll never let Jung Yaki escape. After that line, the director calls cut and announces a break. In the dressing room, the assistant approaches the actress, calling her Jian, and asks if she wants some water, to which she replies to leave it on the table. The assistant informs her that the director said they'll re-record some takes later. Jian replies that it's fine and that she'll get ready. Before leaving, the assistant comments that she can't believe that, being the second female lead, she has so little screen time. She adds that Jian worked really hard for that role and asks if she doesn't feel frustrated. Jian replies that she's not, admitting that she only got the opportunity because of her father's connections. The assistant insists that's not the point, saying that although she may not have the best acting, she has an incredibly photogenic face and still barely appears on screen. Then she comments that, speaking of her father, he mentioned again the topic of her fiancé. That makes Jian remember the night before, when her mother told her that Taeming would be coming back next month and asked if she had contacted him yet. She added that she hadn't seen him in a long time, that he must be more handsome now, and that she should be excited about his return. In the present, the assistant asks if he's really coming back, implying that it would mean... But before she continues, Jian grabs her cheeks and, calling her by her name, Dora, asks her to shut up for 5 minutes, threatening to kill her for talking so much. Dora replies that it's fine, and Jian mentions that she shouldn't worry about taking her later, that she'll call a car herself. Dora asks why, and the actress replies that she slept badly yesterday. She also asks her to take her car back home. While she's not listening, Dora calls her an idiot and asks why she doesn't act like her true self, at least once. Already in the car, Jian reflects that she's exhausted, that she wants to have a feast and then faint asleep. But she remembers the boy from before, thinking that she forgot to ask his name. She believes that the way he looked last night doesn't match the pale, soft face he had that morning, though bruised. She states that, in fact, he's totally her type. She wonders if he's younger than her, and recalls how pure and cute his reaction was. However, she also thinks about the large bruise on his body and wonders how he got it. She also remembers that he had a slim but toned physique. She wishes she could look at him more closely, but then blushes and admits that she's crazy, questioning why she's fantasizing in broad daylight. The driver, looking at her, thinks to himself that she seems to be acting strangely. Already at the entrance of her apartment, she remembers when she told him that he could stay and that she'd take care of him. She wonders what kind of phrase that was and hopes he doesn't misunderstand it as if she were weird. Then she says it doesn't matter, that it's too late to be embarrassed. She believes that he's surely already left and that maybe they'll never meet again. She regrets that, if she had known it would end like this, she would have eaten him up from the start before saying those sweet words. However, Fanyu opens the door for her, and they both stare at each other in silence for a few seconds.